chapters. 10 chapters of the heavenly luminary, the laws of the sun and the moon. You learn with the portals, which is the doors in the book, but they might be called portals in your PDF. I know it's a slight difference, which we know some things have been tampered with, but they pretty much the same. But the main thing was you wanted to learn the laws of how the sun and the moon operate, and we needed to know how to count the days for 28, 29, 30, 31, and we definitely needed to know how to get them counts together for our seasons, which means feast, and our feasts, which are Sabbaths, holy days, atonements, Passovers, but definitely the Sabbaths are included in that as well. So we just covered 10 chapters of the heavenly luminary. We're going to move on. That was chapter 72 to 82 in the book of Enoch. And if you look down further in your PDF, we're on the number 10, and it signifies another question. What is the true day of heaven, the true year of the earth? When was Adam and Eve promised to return to the Garden of Eden? And do heaven and earth have separate time zones? So yeah, we're going to definitely get into that. We're going to cover it, bring out the graphs, bring out the charts, and answer all questions. So I want to open up your books to Daniel chapter 7, verse 25.
Daniel 7 and 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hands until the time and the times and dividing of time.
So basically, that's a serious scripture that I think we need to look into, because the Most High said he was going to not only wear out the saint, but he think to change times and laws. Well, we knew about the laws. That was evident. It was showed in scriptures. But as far as the time, what Esau really changed about the time? We know now he's the end of the world. We know that the Romans took over. We know that they have a new system, ISO. We know about the Roman calendars that was brought forth, which we want to show at the end of this teaching as well. But I think now we need to look into the time that was changed by Esau and see was it the same time by the Most High that was given to Moses. From that point, I want you to turn your scripture turn your books to 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. And let's get into the time zone. We covered a little bit more of the Sabbath. We already know now that seasons was feasts and festivals, and feasts and festivals are the Sabbaths, holy days, the convocation. We also brought forth information for the Passover. We brought the 12 months. We showed 364 days in a year. We also brought forth how to keep time, how to count time, and we verified that it all starts with as far as counting is from the new moon or moon, and it also reflects the yearly cycle, which has also been significant with the sun. So now we're going to go into the time span, and we're going to find out the Most High's time zone from heaven and our time zone here on earth. And let's just really find out if it's the same. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8.
All right, 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day.
So now we know that the Most High is saying that one day with him is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. Now we know we're dealing in the years because the heavens haven't even reached the months, let alone the years. So that definitely signifies the earth is dealing in the years. So from that point now, that tells you right there, that's a separate time zone. That every one day of the Most High is 1,000 years to us. Now let's go into that. Let's go into that one day, break his one day down, and align it with our 1,000 years so we'll know exactly how to count time. I want to reflect back to Enoch, because we actually covered it when we just read the 10 chapters. But I want to reflect back to Enoch chapter 72, verse 32. You there, bro?
I got it.
Read that for me.
Book of Enoch, chapter 72, verse 32. On that day, the night decreases, amounts to 9 parts, and the day to 9 parts, and the night is equal to the day, and the year is exactly as its day, 364.
Now we know the year is 364 days in a year, which reflects the earth. But notice about the 9 parts. Let's look into the 9 parts of the day and the 9 parts of the night, which we know that this information comes out the heavenly luminaries. Now, 9 parts that's broke down for the Most High to signify man, to get you to understand, that can be a cumulative. Well, first let's add the 9 up. 9 in the day, 9 in the night, which a total 18. From the heavenly luminary standpoint, the parts would equal like what we would call hours in our time. So in the heavens, they don't have a full 24 hours like the earth have a full 24 hours. The heavens is broke down into 18 parts. As we read earlier in Enoch, sometimes it might be 12 parts on one day or one night, and it might be 6 parts, or it might even be 11 and 7. So, but it's always going to total 18 parts. So if you look in your PDF, we broke the 18 parts down to align it with the 1,000 years. One day in the heavens is 18 parts, which is like 18 years. 18 hours, I'm sorry. And if you align that with 1,000 years, to say one day equals 1,000 years, if you first align the first 18 parts, that's 1,000 years, which is one day in the heavens. If you look in the PDF, it also gives you a half a day, which is 9 parts, which we can signify to be like our 9 hours. That'll equal you 500 years, because we know 2 divided by 1,000 is 500. Well, if you break that on down even more, that's 4.5, which is, the 9 can divide by 2. That's 4.5 parts, which that'll equal 250 years. You break that down by 2, that's 2.25 parts, which that's 125 years. If you break it down one more time, we at 1.125 parts, which that can signify 62.5 years. And if you just break that little 0.25 down, you would break it down approximately another 10 years, which the Most High says every Jubilee is 4950 years. You remember that? The Jubilee is 4950 years. So approximately 1 hour on the Most High time clock could be 50 years. You understand what I'm saying? So that's important for us to know, because I want to give an example to the year 2000, why it was such a panic. The year 2000 was signified what Esau told was the ending of the world. Okay? What people didn't realize was there was the 12th day for the Most High. And though he calls it the 2,000 years, the 12th day is really 12,000 years. So when Esau thought the 12th day kicked in, they thought it was going to happen right then and there. So that's why they started making their preparations and getting everything ready, because they knew we was in the 12th day of the heavens, which we want to support all this by scriptures. I just want to give you an understanding of the panic of the year 2000, but it's really aligned with the year 12,000. Now we're in the year 2011, which will really align with the year 12,011. And I'm going to show you how that will be with scriptures and the timeline. Where we at from here? Also, I like to bring forth that the heavens don't have months and they don't have years. That's how much of the timeline of the separation that we are. We are in the 12th day of heaven, but we are in the 12,000 years on the earth. And we want to line that up with scriptures as we